Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and welcome to our first flight in the Contrail Falcon 50. Today we are going to have a very first look at this aircraft and take her on a first flight from Cannes to Geneva, which is a 45-minute hop across the Alps, nearing sunset. I'm really looking forward to this one, so I'd say without any further ado we are gonna get right into this one, and we're going to start with a walk around of our brand new Falcon. So, couple things for us over here. We got a lot of covers that we gotta remove, and then most importantly look down here on the nose wheel where you absolutely want to connect the torque assembly. So that one can be disconnected because there is a feature to tow the airplane included over here, which is quite neat. Like that you can push the airplane around and stuff, so that's a pretty neat feature. However, therefore, remember to connect the nose landing gear torque link, otherwise you will end up without nose wheel steering. Okay then, so the sun is just about setting behind the mountains. Man, that looks fantastic. So let's go ahead and continue our walk around over here. Beautiful level of modeling that we've got on the aircraft, and now that the sun is set we can see a couple details that we couldn't see beforehand. Now, moving around the aircraft, we do have a lot of stuff, like for example the refueling panel and such modeled over here. However, you can also use the electronic flight bag for all that. Now let's go ahead to remove those wheel chocks. Then we are going to move around and just look at the lovely leading edge texture over here. Now, good compromise between performance friendliness and modeling over here. If you do go close enough, you can see, for example, the level of detail on the strobe lights over here. A little bit less level of detail on the nav lights. Overall, though, a very good looking model. You can see how the ailerons are drooping because they are held in position by the wind passing by the aircraft later on. Now moving over to the main landing gear. Lovely level of detail that we can see down here, both on the tires as well on the remaining gear assembly. Really good looking model. Alright, then let's remove those engine covers here. 3 engines in the aircraft, giving us additional safety. A really neat looking airplane as well, isn't it? Like that side alone, with the additional engine up there, it's really beautiful. I really do like that. Gotta take a screenshot here. Alright, moving further to the back then, we do have the hydraulic ground connection back here, and then we do have the cargo door up here, which you can open. Again, nice level of detail inside, and there is also the flight recorder of our Falcon. Now, even though this is going to be my, well, like 3rd or 4th flight with the airplane, I did do a little bit of experimenting here beforehand. I do hope that we're not going to need that one. Alright then, so that much for the walk around our Falcon, so I'd say we're going to get right into this one and start setting her up for today's flight. Beautiful looking flight deck from the side. Oh, and one more nice piece of detail here. Look at that green sign. Brakes off, ready to tow. That's a sign that you find in more and more aircraft. We even have them in the airlines. And we just put them in the window when we're leaving the aircraft so that people know that the aircraft is safe to tow. Alright. First time I see this in Flight Simulator. Now let's go ahead and get inside and prepare our airplane. But first of all, welcome to the flight deck of the Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Neat looking flight deck. We do have an EFIS and a flight management system available, but we also have a lot of analog gauges available in the Falcon 50. So that is really a neat little difference from the full glass cockpit business jets that we had flown recently. Alright, before we start in here, let's have a look into the cabin. So, we do have a coffee maker down here. You can't click any of these, but hey. Then a beautiful little galley where you can open and close a lot of the things, like down here. Or at least you should be able to. Okay, interesting. But I am using a pre-release version, so that may just be a thing in the beta version that I'm using to record this. Alright, now beautiful looking cabin. Even got a couch back here, you know, making it a little comfy to get into the Mile High Club. Something you do not have in this airplane is a galley. or rather a lavatory. I mean, the airplane would have one, but it's actually not modeled. We can actually not get inside back there. So that's a bit of a thing. Then again, the price is a lot lower than comparable add-ons, so I think it's still a beautifully modeled cabin. Just like in the front over here, where you got all the aircraft manuals, all that kind of stuff, and a shitload of Japan Airways manuals. Because, hey, this is an airplane of the day and age where electronic flight bags weren't a thing. So back in those days, you would be carrying that many binders with airport charts from all around the world in an airplane like this. Alright, now let's take a seat on the captain's seat over here. We can remove the brakes off sign, and then let's get out the electronic flight bag. Now, this basically gives us our basic MSFS 2024 electronic flight bag, and then we've got the Contrail FA50 app in there. That one gives us control over all the different features available in the airplane. Let's start with a look at the options. You can choose between the V-bar and the crossbar flight directors. You can add some autopilot control labels. Now those are pretty neat. The autopilot controls are located down here and down here. You do have click spots on the main panel. For example, that screw over there or that screw over there, in order to make the interaction with the autopilot easier. If you take that option, you can see we're now getting labels to know where our shortcuts are available. So autopilot, yaw damper, altitude manipulation, vertical speed, and that kind of stuff. Pretty neat if you still need to get used to it. Allow autopilot override, well, basically does what the name tells us. Barrel sync. Over here we can synchronize captain and first officer, then we still have to set the standby manually. An IRS faster line is also available, even though the process is pretty quick anyway in this aircraft. You could choose to fly from the co-pilot seat. If we do that, you can see it brings us over here. Now we have a 3D model of the captain in there, and we can fly the airplane from this side. However, I did notice that the EFB still stays on that side. Now there is one back here, but for some reason, when I click this, not a lot happens. So, pre-release version, I guess. Alright, so let's go right back to the captain's seat. Fly this airplane from the left-hand side today. Alright, so that's all this lovely stuff. G-loaded head movement is also pretty nice. Then your camera is going to respond to G-loading. Now you do have some livery options like save fuel across all sessions and automatic window blinds in the cabin, which is quite cool if they depend on the sun angle and aircraft altitude. I'm gonna leave that on, so we should see some window blind movement today as we're gonna fly in the sunset. Now you do have co-pilot callouts in this aircraft, and then you have a trim clacker. I'm gonna show you that one in flight because it can be annoying. And then a couple of general options here like spawn with covers, user hints, replay mode, which is quite cool. And then you can, of course, enter your SimBrief username, pause at top of descent, and then you have a general reset. So, some pretty cool options available there. Now, a new version is available, yep. There are new versions, like in the pre-release session, like every other hour. So, at some point, you just gotta draw a line. That's fine. Now, what else do we have? Ground operations. Over here, you can, do things like call the van with your passengers on board, that kind of stuff, put all that stuff in place, connect the talk link, disconnect it, put the trucks in place, and so on. Nice stuff. Then we have weight and balance, where we can simply download our SimBrief data, which I'm going to do today. And then over here you can simply set those in a quick manner. You can do real-time fueling, or you can just click that button and then the airplane is going to be refueled automatically for you. Last but not least, we do have the Navigraph chart options available down there, and this basically just calls up the standard Navigraph charts. Now, I'm kind of wondering why they went for this option instead of, just telling the user, well, just go more apps, Navigraph charts. Because either way you have to have a Navigraph sub, but I guess it's probably because of FS 2020, which doesn't have that EFB, so that you can also use this in FS 2020, but that's just an idea. Alright, so that much for our general stuff. Now let's go ahead and actually start setting the airplane up. We can see it's kind of getting dark like quickly now that the sun has set behind the mountains. Okay, so let's go ahead and run the power-up procedures. So the DC power selector is normal, then we can turn our batteries on over here, turn the bus tie on, make sure bus C and bus D are on. Then we can turn on the number 2 fuel boost pump, the nav lights going into nav, and I'm also going to turn the emergency exit lights on at this point. And then let's go right over here and start the APU. So master switch on, generator switch on, and starter on. And now listen to that. So that's a pretty loud APU, and you will notice that once we turn bleed air on, this thing is going to get even louder. And indeed, the Falcon has one of the loudest general aviation APUs. So, like they said in one of those tutorial videos, if a Falcon is running the APU, you're going to hear that at the other side of the airport. So, definitely do take that along over here. Alright, so the APU is on and running, and then we can go ahead and switch the IRS on the right hand side, switch the IRS on the left hand side, switch the inverters on, and then switch the electronic flight instruments and the radios on. We gotta turn those FMCs on manually, we also gotta turn this one on manually. So here we go, everything in progress, let's pick the map, let's hit OK. And then we can run a very quick panel scan flow over here. So starting at the top, this stuff is all set over here, everything's set, and set. And turn the windshield heat switches on, nav light is on, seatbelts, no smoking signs are coming on. And then we could turn our instrument lights up on the top over here, like this. However, I think it's still dark enough that we don't quite need that yet, even though it does look pretty neat, doesn't it? So, just for that reason, I am actually going to turn that stuff on. But that's the only reason, you know, wouldn't really need them right now, but I think it just looks fantastic. So, FMS. Am I hitting the wrong buttons? Probably. Alright, these are the on buttons, now it's working, looking better. Okay, so going over the side over here, our oxygen mask is unfortunately not simulated, so we can't test the oxygen. You can just, see, no click spots here, even though you can move the armrests. Then our IRS is aligning, we're gonna listen to VHF 1 and 2. Now, the yoke is fully forward until the engine start, because we do not have hydraulics here, but you can disable that on the bottom down there, giving you a full view of your instrument panel, which is rather nice to have, you know. Okay, let's go ahead and erect that standby gyro. Like this, then we can do the light test, that is good, the fire tests, which are good, initial altitude we are gonna set later, temperature, wow, just 30, it's quite a bit hotter where I am right now in Germany. Okay, so down here weather radar can go on a standby, but no more than that. The standby pump remains off for the time being, fuel is looking good. The cabin altitude selector is set to slightly above our cruise level, we're going to cruise on 24, so I'm going to set it to 25,000, and all the rest is looking good on this side. Batteries are getting rather warm over here, but not much we can do about that. Then let's go ahead and configure our HSI, and as you can see the IRS alignment is already complete. So let's select the HSI mode, then we're gonna set the course selector to FMS, because we'll need that for navigation later on, and then we are done up here, basically done down here. So let's go ahead and move into the FMC setup. So we're in Con, and as you can see it's automatically offering us a route import from SimBrief, which I'm doing down here. Select that. Then we are gonna depart from runway 17. Now let's go ahead and find our departure routing. And for that, we're just going to flight view OFP. And we got the Irma 1 November departure, which is down here. And we can select this. And then for arrival into Geneva, let's start on the top over here. Runway 22 is supposed to be active. And then we're gonna fly the Kines 2 Romeo arrival, which we got down here, Kines 2 Romeo. Let's select that, and enter. Alright, finally let's go for the approach, and that's gonna be runway 22, ILS, and select that. Okay, that way we've got the entire route in. Let's quickly go onto the VNAV page and go for our data. Cruise level 240, that's automatically imported from the SimBrief plan. And then let's find our SID chart. So runways 17 to the north and east, that should probably be it, I guess. Yep, so straight out, radar vectors towards Amiro. And the transition on this one is 5,000. Okay, so for that, transition 5,000. Looks good like this. Fantastic. And then we can just go onto the nav page over there. You don't need to re-import anything. Here we go. Looking good. Alright, so here's our routing. That's all looking good. The QNH normally defaults to the actual absolute QNH when you set this, or when you load this airplane up, which is quite nice. But, that's that. Now, let's go ahead and see if we can get our ATIS and our departure clearance. That's going to be 130.480. Like that. But nothing here. Let's see. VHF2 is selected. Why is Say Intentions not giving us an ATIS? That certainly does look correct to me.
Inspection aircraft active in the area.
Here we go.
Maintain situational awareness. Advise on initial contact. You have information golf. Con A report. Information golf. 1830 Zulu. Arriving and departing runways 1704. Wind calm. Tab OK. Temperature 30. Dew point 21. QNH 1017. Transition level 60. Flight inspection aircraft active in the area. Maintain situational awareness. Advise on initial contact. You have information golf. Con A report. Information golf.
Okay, so ATIS Golf is on board. Weather is looking absolutely fantastic, so there's nothing for us to worry about. Then we switch 1215 active. And then we've got Common Ground 11805. So let's put that one active. Here we go. 21805. And then Tau will be 118625. Like this. Okay, we do not need any nav aid for our departure, so I'm just gonna deselect those, make sure we do not have an ILS active, and that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and request our IFR clearance in order to get ready to go. Ground, Delta, Bravo, Echo, Tango, India, Information Golf, request IFR clearance to Geneva. So let's give him a second to give us that clearance. Three, two, one.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Also, I tried using your SimBrief filed call sign, but it's not valid. So I
Oh yes, it is.
back on the default. Cleared to Genève via the ERMA 1 November departure. Runway 17. Initial climb 4,000. Departure on 130.83. Squawk 3426.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India is cleared to Geneva via the ERMA 1 November departure, runway 17, climb 4,000 feet, departure 130.830, squawk 3426. Alright, so we're gonna go to 4,000, like that. Let's also set our parking brake at this point. So that's 4,000. We got the Yama 1 November departure down here. And then our departure frequency is going to be 130.83. So let's just put that down here as a reminder. And then let's also put in our squawk, which is 3426. Okay, and here we go. So that's our squawk in, all the rest is set, then we are basically ready to go and start the engines. So let's go ahead and close that door. And here's the click spot. I kind of like the map down there. Alright, here we go. So, 8 passengers on board, as expected. That's gotta be strange, like imagine sitting sideways to the takeoff. That's gotta be interesting. Alright, in any case, we got our passengers on board. Everything is done down here, so let's go ahead and call for engine start. So, transponder goes on. Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, request engine startup. Startup approved, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Okay, fantastic. So the seatbelts are on, emergency lights are on, anti-collision lights are now coming on. Fuel boost pumps, all 3 coming on, and the ignition is on ground start. Alright then, engine to start. Here we go, M2, there's 10%, fuel on. And that is a good start in engine number 2. Let's start engine number 1. SN2, 10%, fuel. And here's a good start number 1. Let's start number 3. And 2. 10%. I love it when engines start that quickly. Alright, and here's 3 good engine starts. Then, let's get going. You're gonna be split, that's all looking good. The transfer pumps are coming on. Down here the pitot heater is coming on, all the stuff over there is set, over there is set, and then we can move right down onto the main panel. So, this is going to be a flaps 20 takeoff, the Mach trim is going to come on, and then finally let's go ahead and get our takeoff data card down here. Flaps 20 is selected, so synchronize the bugs and synchronize the weight please. So the bugs are the ones down here. And then the weight is over here beneath the landing gear lever, where you set the aircraft gross weight, so that you've got a constant reminder of how heavy you actually are. Okay, so that is all looking good. The standby pump is also going to come on. Then let's switch over to brake system number 2, at least for the start of our taxi. And then, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, request taxi. So we're on the Tango apron over there, so most likely the Whiskey to Papa 1 or something like that. Alpha 1, fine with me as well.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, runway 17, taxi via Whiskey, Alpha 2.
Taxi via Whiskey and Alpha 2 to runway 17, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Okay, as you can see, we need 3,400 feet of runway, and we have 5,052 feet of runway. Okay, cool. So let's just take a second here. Go on to the ground ups, make sure that that van is gonna leave, otherwise things that might get expensive. And taxi light on, park and brake off. Now, we do have the battery cautions over here. I'm completely honest with you, I've done everything the manual told me to. The batteries are on, they're probably hot. Actually, I haven't done everything. Let's press these two, now I've done everything. And now we can also shut down the APU. So that thing's running down. Once the RPM reaches 0, we're going to turn the APU off. Then let's see if the battery caution's still going to be there. I think it might be going away then. Alright, APU is off. And APU master switch off. And look at that, the battery warnings went away. Perfect. Okay, then we are ready to go. Brake check. And brakes are good on system 2. Switch over to number 1. Brake check. Looking good. Let's go. Okay, so for a quick takeoff briefing, it's going to be a left seat takeoff, runway 17, flaps 20, noise abatement procedure is not applicable here. Then our rotation, V1 95, VR and V2 109, flap retraction 124, and clean speed 134. 166 is going to be the 1.5 times stall speed. Okay, takeoff power 98.5, climb power 96.8, and in case of an immediate return, 115 knots, visual approach back on the runway 17. If we do have time available, we go into the holding and prepare for the return. Consider diverting to Nice, which is just around the corner, and most certainly has a much longer runway and not as hard to fly into. Alright, and that's our departure briefing completed. Do you have any questions? Nope. Fantastic. So, let's look at that. Gotta love all those business jets.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, contact tower on 118.625, safe flight.
118.625, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, bye bye. And then 13083 for our departure frequency. Con Tower, good evening, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, ready for departure. So here's Alpha 2 as instructed.
Bravo, Echo Tango India, Can Tower, runway 17, winds 170 at 3, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 17, cleared for takeoff, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. So let's turn all of those on, and the engine's gonna go on air start to activate ignition, and with that, cabin, please prepare for departure. So, weather radar is coming on, squawk machine into Tara, and then we're good to go. So, are you ready? Yes, fantastic. In that case, down here everything is set. Let's go. No auto throttle. Here we go, thrust set. Checked. You're up. Now listen to the trim. See what I meant earlier? Okay, flaps up. And slats retract. And look at that, we are out of the shadow from the mountains. Just gotta love this. So, as you can see, the yoke is somewhat blocking the view here. For that reason, I am going to remove it now. I don't like doing these things, but
departure on 130.83.
130.83 Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Bye bye. Departure low, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, passing 2,000, climbing 4,000.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, Nice departure identified. Climb 4,000 direct roll up.
4,000 roll up, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Okay, that's going to be a continuous left turn. 1,000 to go. Direct 2. Roll up. Wait a moment. We've already overflown roll up. What the? So we have to proceed to demount after all.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Traffic at your 12 o'clock 5 miles. At 4,000 A320.
Roger. Can we continue the climb to 5,000? So otherwise that might be a problem.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, climb 5,000.
Climb 5,000, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Set, 5,000 checked. Okay, so let's just fix that nav map here. Direct to demot. Like this. Better. Much better. Now, we are doing a little bit of hand flying here in the Falcon. And as you can see, there is one thing that I do really like.
Bravo Echo Tango India, climb flight level 130.
Climb flight level 130, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Okay, set. Set climb thrust, and up we go. Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, can we proceed to direct Amiro?
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, proceed direct Amiro approved.
Direct Amiro approved, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. They say Barso in ERMR. Did I mess that up? Oh yeah, it's Barso. Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, can we proceed to direct Barso? As that'd be the right waypoint.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, speed below 250 please.
That's what we are doing. Alright, as you can see, she's really nice to hand fly. Dead steady in the air. That's really nice. Really, really nice. Real stable platform. Until you get into turbulence on the final. But we'll be talking about that later on when we start the approach to Geneva. For the time being, let's just continue over here.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, contact Marseille Control on 127.905.
127.905, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Marseille Control, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, flight level 114, climbing flight level 130. So there's 1,000 to go.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, Marseille Control, climb flight level 130 approved.
And Delta Echo Bravo Tango India, we are looking for flight level 240. So again, as you can see, really easy to fly it precisely.
Climb flight level 240.
Climbing flight level 240, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Set, 240 checked, and now we can pull that nose up. Gently, I would say. And then let's start turning on the autopilot. So first things first, let's reinsert that direct to Barso, just to make sure we are on the route over there. Then let's go nav, let's go vertical speed, and that thing engages on present vertical speed. And with all of that done, let's put the autopilot on. So, what are we seeing on the displays right now? We've got FMS navigation, vertical speed 6,000, but I'm doing that just to reduce the speed. 260 is the target climb speed. And we are approaching that just now, so let's go into climb mode here. Here we go, climb to 60. Then we got autopilot and yaw damper engaged, and finally we got pre-selected altitude armed on the top over there, which means that it is going to intercept that altitude. Alright, and that's all we got, so let's set standard. Gonna do a couple of the things that I didn't do earlier because we've been flying that airplane. What are you doing there? Alright, here we go. 1013 is set and cross-check, passing level 180 now. Checked. Alright, and that's all looking good. Then we're through 100, so landing light, nav light, wing light, seat belt, ignition is gonna go back on the ground. And then we can switch the standby pump to auto. And that's pretty much it. Now, one thing that I really don't like there. First officer, do something with your HSI. Here you go, that's looking better, is it? Okay, cool. And with that, we're up and in the air. Let's do a quick check of our pressurization system there. The differential pressure is climbing. The cabin altitude just stays down at the bottom because we are not flying all that high today. So we're actually fine without exceeding any pressurization limits or any differential pressure limit, that way around. We don't have to pressurize the airplane at all. The cabin altitude's just going to remain down at the bottom. Okay, so the sun is coming. Let's put the sun visor up, which we got over here. And barely not large enough. Okay. But what we should see now, in the back, is the window blinds from the cabin. You guys should be on automatic, so I would kind of expect these to go down. Because, you know, you got the sunlight right in your face over there. Huh. Interesting. I would definitely have expected those to go down. But okay. Okay, here we are, back up in the front. Then let's keep flying here. We're approaching 1,000 to go. So let's go vertical speed, and then we can dial that down using that little shortcut over here on the screw. Otherwise, you would be controlling the vertical speed using that wheel down there. You can definitely see why Contrail has put that shortcut in place over here. So we're going to accelerate to 300 knots. That's going to be our cruising speed today. We are going to take this one fast. Resume normal speed. Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. That's what we're doing anyway. Yeah, it looks like our engine's running a little fast there. Let's do something about that. What was the climb thrust again? 98.5. That's something that you gotta get used to when flying this aircraft. You have to control your speed, or rather your engine power settings manually. So, pre-selected altitude capture, and here we are, leveling off in 24,000. And here we go. So I'm going to accelerate a little bit here. Just decided that 300 isn't fast enough for me. Let's take her a little quicker. Just gonna let the climb thrust stand here and see what speed we can achieve. Because the Falcon 50 is set to be a pretty fast business jet, so I'm excited to see what pretty fast actually means. Like right now we're going Mach 0.71, and we're in 24,000, so the Mach number is going to be not that relevant here. Indicated matters more. You got a true airspeed indicator up there. And just looking at this, been through 450 knots now. Let's see what we can achieve in terms of indicated airspeed. Nice looking airplane. That anhydral of the elevators is so interesting to see. There aren't many aircraft that operate like this, because what an anhydral does is that it basically makes a tendency to bank stronger. So, if I need to guess, the airplane is very stable in terms of what the wings cause it to roll like, and therefore they've added this effect on the, or therefore they added the anhydrol on the stabilizers in order to help the airplane maintain the bank angle a little bit better. Just a wild guess though, but would sound reasonable if you ask me. Okay, so 336 knots, still accelerating a little bit. Now let's go ahead and, nope, didn't need to stow the sun visor. Let's get it back up. But just meant to put it somewhere here. Look at that. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Once again, fantastic graphics from Microsoft Flight Simulator. The mounts down there, the airplane up here, that's all a really, really cool combination. I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. So, I'm taking screenshot after screenshot here just because this looks so cool. But let's actually go back inside and see what our airplane is doing. So we're reaching 346 knots. Almost 350, which equals almost 500 knots true airspeed here. That's pretty cool, isn't it? But I do think we're gonna have to reduce our thrust here ever so slightly, just to make sure that we aren't gonna overspeed it. But look at that, Mach 0.80 in flight level 240. That's quite the incredible performance. Quite the incredible performance indeed. Now let's take a short moment to see if we can find any information about our arrival airport already. Geneva, Asus 135580.
Transition level 70. Advise on initial contact. You have information Oscar. NMS Airfield. Information Oscar. 18500. Arriving and departing runway 12.
Nope, that's not Geneva.
Tab OK.
3558? Yep, well, we're not in range just yet. But it's fine, should be runway 22 over there. So let's just see what we actually... Let's go over here. That gives us the correct chart. So, Akito standard arrival. Actually, Akito? No. Kines. Here we go, that's the one. Okay, and then we'll take the ILS chart runway 22. Quick setup, 108.7, 223. So 1087 is already pre-selected. Let's go ahead and turn that active. Like that and like that. Minimum 1565. Alright, like that. Now this is quite a cool device on our altimeter over there. You got 3 indications. That's your minimum, and that's your approaching minimum there, and that's the actual minimum. Then assuming a standard airfield, that's your field elevation. And that's your 500 foot gate for the approach. Quite a nice tool. Okay, so we got that. Then let's go ahead and have a quick look down into our standard arrival routing so that we can calculate the top of descent. So loads of waypoint without restrictions, And then the first one that really matters is going to be Valbu, above flight level 140. And I'm going to turn that into an at flight level 140, just so that we're able to take some shortcuts. So let's go VNAV. Here we go, there's our VNAV calculation. Then on the next, let's go Valbu, enter, and we're gonna make that plant crossing level 174. No, let's turn that into 140 exactly. Here we go, now it plans to cross that at level 140. And now we got a top of descent in 5 minutes. So that's our VNAV system. Easy stuff, isn't it? Now let's just take a second to go back into the cabin, just to enjoy those views as well. Let's just start over here. I mean, look at this. Quite fantastic, isn't it?
Contact Milan Center on 121.14.
Say again? I think that was for us.
Delta Bravo, Tango India. Contact Milan Center on 121.14.
121.14, Delta Bravo, Echo Tango India. Bye bye. Milano, buongiorno, Delta Bravo, Echo Tango India, flight level 240.
Delta Bravo, Echo Tango India, Milan Center identified. Bonsoir.
So, there's the Mont Blanc. It's also a fantastic sight, isn't it? Now, let's go turn up a couple of lights over there. Alright, this starts looking better, is it? So, let's just go back to the cabin here for a moment. Told you we'd have a look at this. Pretty busy today.
Delta Bravo, Echo Tango India. Cleared Kinos 2 Romeo into Genève. When you're ready to begin your descend. Flight level 160.
Cleared Kinos 2 Romeo Bravo when ready, descend flight level 160, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Can set that later. Still have a couple of minutes to the plant top of descent. So just look at this. I mean, it's a lovely cabin, isn't it? You can of course get the table out. Neat texture here with nice reflections from the window. Gotta say I also like this display, just because it gives us our speed and altitude in metric systems over there. Time to destination is nice as well, even though I'm fairly sure that those 13 minutes would be a great circle distance here. But in 7,300 meters, 917 kilometers an hour, that's quite the amazing speed. Normally you'd really only be able to do this at much higher altitudes. So overall, fantastic cabin. I like it a lot. The only down point here is that there is no lavatory modeled, but I think that there are worse problems out there. There are definitely worse problems out there. Alright, so let's just go back to the front here for a moment. Set 160 checked. Then let's see, top of descent, 1.8 minutes. Looking at about 2,600 feet a minute. And we can quickly go down into the data screen there and set the transition level. And for that we can check if we're actually able to receive the Geneva ATIS now.
Tab OK. Temperature 32, 2.16. QNH 1018. Transition level 70.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Contact Marseille Control on 128.325.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, 128.325. Marseille, bonjour, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, flight level 240, descending flight level 160. Marseille, bonjour, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, flight level 240. Okay, well, let's do it quick and dirty. 7,000, definitely positive QNH, so we'll call the transition level 80. So, top of descent in 3 miles. We are clear to descend, so VNAV is armed. Okay, so Marseille control, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, leaving flight level 240, descending flight level 160. And here we go.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, Marseille control identified. Good evening.
So, there's the Mont Blanc. Fantastic sight, isn't it? Like, let's see that from the outside again. Here we go, guys. Highest mountain in Europe. Take it from a German first officer. That's looking quite amazing as well, isn't it? Like those light bits of daylight remaining over the ridges. Actually, did I say the Mont Blanc is the highest? I think that's the Zugspitze, but I might be wrong on all those. Not the mountain type of guy. Otherwise, you would probably hear about me in other media. Alright, so let's maintain a close look at our arrival chart, because obviously we do not have any indication on speed restrictions in our flight plan over here. So, leaving our cruise level, airport elevation is 1400, so let's make sure that that is set up there. Here we go, 1400. Then we can also get our landing data, like this, synchronize the bugs, and here we go. Alright.
135.55 Iberia 06
I do hope that we'll be able to type something here on the Asus and the notes field in the future.
Echo Tango India, contact Geneva final approach on 120.305.
120.305, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Geneva final, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, Geneva final approach identified. Salute expect the ILS runway 22 approach into Geneva. Verify information, Sierra.
We'll expect the ILS runway 22 and we'll check Sierra, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Okay, vertical speed. Let's just reduce that a little. 1,000 feet a minute. And here we go, nice range. Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, request further descent.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, roger.
Ah yeah. I mean, if he doesn't give it, not much we can do about it. Look at the flight deck like this. Just gotta get rid of the sunshade. Look at it like this.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, contact Swiss radar on 126.05.
126.05, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Swiss radar, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, maintaining flight level 160.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, Swiss radar identified solid.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, request further descent. Roger that. I mean, not exactly what I would expect here, but ain't gonna complain about that. So 6,000 is gonna be the minimum en route altitude. So let's do 6,000 descent mode.
Iberia 06 Alpha Alpha contact Barcelona control.
And then I guess we can start slowing down as well here, maximum 250.
Switching to Barcelona control on 133.08 Iberia 06 Alpha Alpha.
Let's not be that aggressive, please. 2,000 is sufficient. That thing is above 7.0, but we're almost over it. Thereafter comes 6,000, and that is currently set. Alright, turning downwind. So let's just get the Asus for the Q&A.
Code 4. Cap OK. Temperature 32, 2.16. QNH 1018. Transition level 70. Advise on initial contact. You have information Oscar.
Alright, 1018.
Information Oscar. 1850.
And that equals 3006, so let's set that real quick. Like this. Okay. So I think the current vertical speed is doing quite well. Let's not increase the rate of descent much further. I'm just gonna go to 3,000 here, just to be able to take a quick shortcut should ATC have one for us later. Okay, so we're inbound 525. That's the 6,000 point. Thereafter we can go down to 4,300. And here's 4,300 set. And we're passing 10. Okay, that's our lights on. Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, we have the runway in sight, request a visual approach. That's just to shorten it a bit.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, cleared for the visual approach runway 22.
Cleared visual approach runway 22, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Okay, fantastic. Then let's make sure that the ILS is selected. I'm still going to fly it with the ILS, but I just want to use the slight shortcut for the approach here, really. Alright, so we're gonna go down to 4,000 here. There's the glide slope alive. Okay, so let's do heading 310 and set the autoflight system up again. Here we go. So there's heading and vertical speed is still active. Then we can put the autopilot back on. Oh no. Here we go, heading, synchronized, thank you. And then let's reduce that rate of descent a little bit. Then we can look at this. Alright, speed looks good. Let's start a left-hand turn. Runway 22, so let's do heading 250 to intercept. Speed is nicely coming back. 14 miles on the ILS. And here we go. Approach is armed. Localizer capture. Now, I started the final turn a little bit too late. That was my mistake. Now let's quickly fix up the FMS routing here. So, direct 2, final approach fix. Thank you. With that, our routing is fixed up. Now, speed is slowly and steadily coming back. Let's go to 180. Intercept the final descent. I think that's looking quite good. Now, did the localizer mode just drop out down there? Yeah. Okay, here we go again.
Echo Tango India, contact Genève Tower on 118.705.
118.705, dot Bravo Echo Tango India, bye bye. Geneva Tower, good evening, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, visual approach runway 22. Okay, there's localizer capture again.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, Genève Tower, expect late landing clearance, runway 22.
Okay, we're right down at the clean speed. Let's go, flaps extend. Okay, so you come back on again. Here we go, glide slope capture. Go around altitude 7,000 and sat. Now, why is the plane not following the localizer? Okay, I don't care. If it's not doing what it's supposed to do, then we make it do what it's supposed to do. Manual flight. But the localizer mode was definitely active, so don't ask me what happened there.
Takeoff, Alpine 901 Tango Whiskey.
Now that's a fantastic view here. Alright, there we are, back on the localizer.
Contact departure, safe travels.
6 miles out, let's start slowing down. Gear down. Flaps 20. Flaps 42. Or flaps 40, I think it is. So we're going to go down to 120 for the final approach. Like this. What's the exact speed? 118. Alright. Gotta be a little careful here. She loses speed very quickly once you get below the approach speeds. Quite a bit of trim here, that machine gun. But here we are, looking good. Let's just get that yoke back in, just so that you guys can actually see what I'm doing. As you can see, loads of small inputs only. Runway 22, clear to land, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. And once you're fully established, she's quite nice, but just like the Fokker, this one gives the glide slope warning much too early. I mean, we weren't even at a whole dot of deviation and it already started complaining. I think the sounds of the radio altimeter could be made a bit louder. Rather difficult to hear. So as you can see, small inputs. No, it's complaining much too early. Much too early. Okay, we only have a single reverser on the center engine, and that one's out. Okay.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, welcome to Geneva. Contact ground on 121.68.
121.68, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Alright, would you be so kind to tune that for me? Thank you. Geneva ground, Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, vacating runway 22. So, 37 minutes flight time.
Delta Bravo Echo Tango India, Geneva ground, taxi to Terminal 3. Stand 90 center via Delta, outer taxiway, Link Alpha. Good day.
Stand 90 via Delta, Outer, and the link Delta Bravo Echo Tango India. Alright, so that's going to be a long time going here. So let's just quickly get that parking chart, just to be 100% sure. So 90 center is where? Here. Okay. We're gonna go all the way to the end. Fine with me. So that thing's going up. Weather radar is going off. Anti-collision light red, landing light off, wing lights off. And we are gonna start that APU a little bit later. Alright, and with that, welcome to Geneva. Now, a couple words on how the airplane lands, because I think that's really worth talking about. So the moment you're pulling off the thrust, she really starts losing altitude. Now that's not a bug, that's a feature, that's how real aircraft feel. The moment you are pulling off thrust, you do feel them drop down a bit. That's because the pitch is positive, and therefore you have a part of a thrust vector that's actually pushing you upwards. So the moment you go to idle, that thing goes away, plane starts descending a bit quicker. That's modeled beautifully. That also means, though, that while you're reducing thrust, you gotta start pitching up, otherwise she will fall to the ground. And that's something you will absolutely find her doing a lot of times if you aren't careful. So you definitely got to be careful with that. Now let's see, here's link 1. We're gonna continue past link 0 to link Alpha. That must be behind the EasyJet. Okay. So, start the APU, please. What's going on? Okay, reset. Off. On. Why is that? Okay, APU is not gonna start. Well, so be it. Then we gotta work without it. I have no idea why the APU isn't gonna start. Probably something I've done or not done. Alright, here we are, link Alpha. Then we're gonna go into 90 center, that must be next to the BBJ up there. Lovely to see BBJ, by the way. So, 90 center, that's where the BBJ is on. Is that a static? Yeah, that is a static. Okay, well then we'll go around, and then we're gonna take Alpha 1. Just to check, can that APU start now? No, it can't. Just wonder why. But no. Okay, then we're gonna do without. That's fine. Alright, so taxi light off, wing lights off already. Put those out. Okay. And stop. Alright, parking brake set. One last attempt, one last idea. What if I do this? Nope. Alright, fine. Then we're gonna do without APU. So let's go right into the shutdown procedure over here. Ain't much we can do about it now. Okay, so be it. So parking brake is set, taxi light off, radars off, IRS 1 and 2 are going off. Then standby pump off, transponder off, EFIS 1 and 2 off, inverters off. Wait a moment, this could be why we can't start the APU. Nope. Okay. Well, that is it. Enough attempts at the APU. Okay, so inverters are off, power levers 1, 2, 3, cut off. Alright. Nice and quiet. Alright, transfer pumps coming off. Fuel boost pumps are coming off, then the seatbelt sign is coming off, emergency lights off, no smoking sign off, anti-collision light off, and the emergency horizon is still looking good. Bus tie is on flight normal, APU master is off anyway, and batteries are coming off. Alright, and that's our shutdown procedure complete. So guys, let's just go ahead and release that brake, put the brakes off sign up here, and then we can open up that door, and that's gonna be it for today's flight. Finally, let's disconnect the talk link over there so that we can push the aircraft should it become necessary. And well guys, with that, welcome to Geneva. I hope you liked this one. I hope you do like the Contrail Falcon 50. Definitely an interesting airplane to fly. I'm absolutely liking it, and I hope you do as well. Leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video, now available on the Contrail app for a price of €32.90, I believe? Something like that, 33 euros-ish. So a fantastic price for an airplane like this. Thank you very much for watching. As always, like, comment and subscribe. Also a huge thank you to Contrail for giving me a review copy of the Falcon. And if you guys really love what I'm doing on this channel and if you want to support me, why not consider a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm really looking forward to see you all again right on the next one.